spare a thought for Prince Harry. He's officially ditched the UK for the United States to name it as his primary country of residence. This comes after years of the Sussexes living stateside since they downed tools and fled to California in 2020. Joining me now from Los Angeles is the host of the To Die For Daily podcast, the wonderful Kinsey Schofield. Kinsey, very good to see you once more. I'm sorry about this. You know, I feel in some way responsible that we've chased Harry away and now he's decided to make his main residence in your country, for which you must not be really eternally grateful.
Yeah, Mike, thoughts and prayers. Well, you know, I think that we should stress that he's not a U.S. citizen, though.
Right.
You know, this is just technically a piece of paper. I do think it alludes to the fact that we can let go of any hope that he would return to the British royal family to help support throughout their time of need or whatever those headlines have been recently. But he is not an American citizen, according to the Immigration and Naturalization Act. If he decides to become one, he would be forced to renounce his title or any sort of order of nobility that he holds before he could acquire that citizenship. And that is the only thing that gives him credibility in the United States, Mike. That is both him and Meghan Markle's moneymaker. Right. So he's not going to give up that title for citizenship.
Right. We've talked about this before as well, because at some point or other, certainly if he's a resident, I know a little bit about this because I lived in America for nearly 10 years back in days long before you were born, lived in New York City, and I paid my taxes there, I paid my federal taxes there as well, and I had a visa to work as a journalist in the US, but because of that, I was, you know, I think I could have chosen if I wanted to pay my taxes in the UK, but I didn't. He, at some point, if he's resident there, will be forced to pay some kind of tax, won't he?
He will, and they've been very savvy in the way that they've set up all of their businesses in Delaware, which is not where they live or have really anything to do with. Right. So they've set up everything that they do in Delaware for that nice little tax break. So that is clearly something that is on their radar, taxes.
Yes, because for those of the audience who are not familiar with Delaware, it's a bit like launching all your businesses offshore. It's kind of like having them in the Isle of Man or somewhere like that, or even in the Netherlands or somewhere where the taxes are very, very limited, which doesn't quite chime, does it, with their responsible ownership of various charities and monies that they should be passing on to good causes like the government. But in terms of why he's done this, I suppose inevitably if he hadn't done it, he wouldn't really be in a good position. He can't, because you can't continue to stay in America forever, even if you're married, unless you become a resident, right?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think that the reason we've seen these papers and that address on the papers, specifically the date that he got the boot from Frogmore Cottage, I do think he's making a statement there. This is another pity party from Prince Harry, because he's told Good Morning America he's considered becoming a U.S. citizen, but it wasn't a high priority for him. He was really defiant in his engagement with Anderson Cooper, saying, why should he renounce his titles? What difference would that make? If he wanted to be a citizen of the United States, he would be one by now. He would shut down this whole, you know, gigantic mess of the Heritage Foundation back and forth. He could stop all of that.
He could. And I'm told that the date that he decided that he wanted to be listed as an American resident was, in fact, the date that he left Frogmore Cottage, so the date that he was effectively kicked out, lock, stock and barrel, by his old man, I suppose you might say. It was June 29th of last year. That's the date he said he started having the USA as his main residence. But they didn't go straight to the USA then, did they? I thought they went straight to Vancouver Island, didn't they?
That's right. They went to Canada, and we all thought that that's where they were going to stay. And it wasn't until Tyler Perry offered up his home in America right before the pandemic hit that Harry and Meghan packed their bags and moved into Tyler Perry's mansion for free for quite a bit of time. But I think that the ultimate objective for Meghan was always to get back to the States and to, you know, just revert back to her influencer lifestyle, which is what we've seen so far.
And how has that been going since the last time we spoke a couple of nights ago, the selling of the jam?
Can I be sassy really quick? Can
Please.
I just have a little with you, Mike. So the Prince of Wales was seen today in Surrey visiting Surplus to Supper.
Yes.
This is a nonprofit organization that distributes surplus food to people in need. Media-wise, this was a highly anticipated event, as this is Prince William's first appearance since the Princess of Wales revealed her preventative cancer treatment.
Yeah.
Meghan Markle's friend today, and a charity named Alliance of Moms, a community of women supporting pregnant and parenting teens in foster care, they posted a series of pictures of Meghan Markle today on Instagram. Now, Meghan would have given her permission for these images to go up, images that would distract from Prince William's efforts to support Surplus to Supper, images that could have easily been uploaded yesterday or tomorrow. And I think this is just another example of the kind of tug of war that was constantly happening between the Sussexes and the Cambridges, now the Wales, prior to Megxit. Meghan refusing to acknowledge the system in place, the clear schedule to amplify certain projects and executions, which are highly strategized months in advance to ensure they receive the support that they need. You know, she doesn't recognize oversaturating the news cycle weakens the royal family's authority, or she does. You know, now that she's not one, she doesn't care. But, you know, this is just, it almost gives credibility to that South Park episode, that, you know, that the me element of that South Park episode, that during the royals' time of real stress and concern, Meghan announces new Netflix shows. She's posting jam on Instagram and now, you know, smiling for photos in these T-shirts. It just feels like me. She's back. She's back. There's no hiding.
And as I say, I said to you the other night, those videos, little clips from the polo match and the prize giving afterwards, and you know, her sort of putting herself front and centre and all of that. And I always say to people who say, oh, you know, you media people are just always picking on her. She's not like that. You know, she doesn't plan these things in the same way as you describe. Well, just think about it the other way around, because if she in fact didn't plan these things at all, and imagine her surprise so many times when she's launched things on the very same day that somebody in the UK was doing something completely different. And I'm afraid it happens too many times. And you know that she would not allow that to happen by accident. She wouldn't say, oh my God, how is it possible that we issued this picture when this other picture was coming out, you know, of the Prince and Princess of Wales, or something like that. You know, it doesn't bear thinking about. It would never happen.
She's not that stupid. I mean, I would say Prince Harry might be, but Meghan Markle is not that stupid. You don't go from cable TV actress to the Duchess of Sussex by being a stupid individual. I think she's incredibly intelligent, and she does do these things on purpose because she's, you know, her ultimate objective is to make a buck off these people who she believes have hurt her feelings.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, there's so many things that are going to happen over the course of the next few months, I dare say, that, as you suggest, there will be all manner of revelations, I'm sure, that they'll have ready. And they'll have timed all of the, you know, Netflix deals and all of the announcements about that and all of the release dates of all of that around everything else that they know is happening.
Exactly. And if you're alluding to what I think you're alluding to, I don't think that they're going to walk away looking like decent human beings.
No, of course they're not. And that, unfortunately, is how they are going to be. But I do feel that, you know, we do give Harry a hard time on here. He appeared on Plank of the Week again this week for his unfortunate inability to win any kind of lawsuit whatsoever, and for costing not only his own household £1 million, but for trying to pass it off to the taxpayers in this country. So you might be able to hear the refrain of the world's smallest violin, which we brought in especially for him. But in terms of the lovely Meghan, how is she and her sort of jam and all the rest of it being received? What are people saying over there?
Pretty scathing reaction, if I'm being honest. You know, you wait such a long time to reveal what your next moves are, and it's labels peeling off a DIY jar of jam. It's not really what people anticipated from her. They wanted more. So I think that I don't think anybody's impressed, if I'm being honest with you.
No, and let's go back to Prince William just for the final suggestion about what's going on. He was given get well soon cards, as you said, when he was out delivering these surplus to supper food distribution parcels, and obviously nobody really knows how well she's doing. Nobody really knows how her recovery is coming along, but he promised to look after her.
So sweet. Yeah, I mean, I hear that and my heart falls into my stomach. I do think that we've seen that Prince William prioritizes his family over the crown over the last few months.
Yes.
So while we don't know what's going on with the Princess of Wales, the fact that we saw him today, we saw him in good spirits. He showed up, you know, he was engaging and charming with everybody there. I do believe that is a good result, and that we can take that, and it should give us some peace knowing that the Princess of Wales is hopefully feeling okay at home and recuperating and improving as best as she can under the circumstances, because we do know, we saw him pull out of the memorial service for his godfather. When things are bad at home, he does not hesitate to prioritize his family. So it's great, it's wonderful when we see him out and about and in good spirits, kind, happy, and just so generous with his time.
Yes, indeed. And I think, you know, after all the ridiculous shenanigans that went on a few weeks back about her health and whether we'd see her again, I mean, I suppose the one thing that has changed since the last couple of weeks is that the Easter holidays are now over, the children will be going back to school. And again, I think most people would, in this country anyway, are no longer interested in how she is. They just want her to be okay.
Right. I definitely think that the question mark over everything is been buried and done. We do, I mean, I'm seeing though, I wouldn't say people aren't worried about how she's doing, because I am seeing a flood of people posting the reactions that they have received from the palace, because they, you know, took the time to send letters to her telling, I even have people writing me saying, you know, I lost my hair during chemo. How can I send her all of the tips and tricks that I use to keep some of my hair? The way that people feel about this person, it's incredible. They are so emotionally connected to Catherine, the Princess of Wales. They are invested in her health and her future. And I think it's because she is so authentic and sincere in everything she does.
Yeah, I think so. Great to talk to you, Kinsey, as ever. Have a good weekend. Thank you very much indeed. Kinsey Schofield, from the host of the To Die For podcast. You're watching The Independent Republic of Mike Graham.